It's extremely cold and there's been an awful lot of fog. So we get this amazing crystalline structure on top, and it's not like a crust. And what these snow conditions do is just gives you a lot of glide. It is almost effortless. This is absolutely wonderful. Here's an example of the frost crystals that sets up on the sagebrush here. And these fine crystals are the same thing that we see forming on top of the snow. When the snow is really cold and you're on hardpack, the angular nature of the snow tends to give you a lot of friction and there's not a lot of glide. But even though it's like 2 degrees Fahrenheit out this morning, this is magical. There's just virtually no friction at all moving along the surface of the snow. And all the trees are just magical, just coated with hoarfrost. This is one of the best parts about this ski route today, is it's so different than all the other places I tend to ski. It's nice and flat, but look at all these amazing old cottonwoods. If I use my imagination, I could just stretch and think I'm someplace in the Midwest, and that's really cool. Okay, let's talk about taking a break when you're backcountry skiing. You know, if you're tired and you need a rest, need some food or hydration, you know, you can just stop and stand and do that. Or you can do what's called a knee rest. And if it's been a long day and you're really tired, sometimes this can be a little bit helpful. You know, AT skiers and telemark skiers who got a free privet use this all the time. You don't see cross-country skiers using it very much. And of course, you wouldn't want to use this technique if you're skiing on somebody else's tracks or a trail that's used a lot. You don't want to block the trail. But the way this works, you just sort of pack a little area in the snow where you're standing. You just reach down and you unfasten one ski. And then if the snow is really deep, you can just kneel on that one ski. It'll keep you out of the snow. This will give your back a rest, give your legs a rest. If you try using this kneeling method with your foot attached to the ski, there's just too much pressure on that foot. So from here you can pop your pack off, get access to your water, your food, adjust things. Maybe you need to change your clothing, whatever the case may be. This is a really good position. It's really restful. And you'd be surprised just being in a different position how much more comfortable that feels. Well, we've been skiing for a couple hours now. It's time for lunch. Let's talk about how I do lunch. The temperature is about 4 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not exactly a warm day, but with the sunshine and no wind, it just feels glorious. But the first thing I like to do is to sort of pack an area. It just makes it easier to get your skis off, especially if you're going to sit down and take a break for a while. If the snow is deep, you're going to sink a long ways when you get off your skis. But it's pretty early in the season. The snow is not real deep right now, so this stomping an area down isn't as critical. But it's just a practice you should get used to, so that when you step off your skis, you know, if you sink up to your waist, it's going to be a lot easier. So if the snow is deep and you need a platform to sit on, you can just use your skis as a platform. They'll support your weight. Always carrying an insulating pad in my pack, and I'll just set that down on my skis. Then I like to tromp out an area for my feet. One of the things that happens is after you stop, your feet tend to get cold. So if you can stomp out an area and keep them above the snow, if you can keep the sun shining on them, even better. The next thing you might want to do is put on some extra clothing. You've just been skiing for a while, you might be pretty warm, but it won't take long and you'll cool down. So if you have some extra clothing, an extra hat or glove, warmer gloves, extra coat, put those on. You want to keep that heat in for a while, as long as possible. And of course, if you can keep your feet in the sun and out of the snow, it'll help your feet stay warm. Then it's just a matter of having your lunch, and keep in mind that when you fill your stomach up with food, your blood's going to rush to your stomach, so you will get cold. Here's another technique that people will often use. They'll use their skis as a backrest. You need a little deeper snow than what we have right here. But if you have 4 or 5 feet of snow, you can stick your skis down into the snow. It makes a nice little backrest. You can put your insulated pad right there, and then you can essentially lean up against your skis. Unfortunately, the snow is not deep enough today, so it won't make a good backrest. Well, we finished lunch, and Julie's back breaking the trail. We're heading off to see an old friend, and when we get there, I'll introduce you. Well, there's our old friend, and believe it or not, older than me. This guy here has been camping in Teton National Park for a long time. I'm sure some of you are probably laughing, wondering what the big deal is about this tree. But just look at the character of this guy. It's simply amazing. A lot bigger than it looks from a distance. Now this old guy doesn't have a bad angle. Looks amazing from every side. And for an old tree hugger like myself, just warms the cockles of my heart. Well, thanks for joining us today on our little cross-country ski through the Cottonwoods. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, be safe and be kind. Hope to see you in the next video.